You've arrived at Snooze Scholar, a quiet little corner of the universe where stories drift slowly, voices stay soft, and time moves like warm honey. Before we begin our gentle journey tonight, take a moment to subscribe, not out of urgency, but so that whenever you need rest, peace, or a bedtime story for your grown-up mind, you'll know just where to find one. Now, let the day fall away. Let your body grow heavy, and let your imagination grow light. Tonight, we're going to slowly explore the life of a raindrop, from its very first breath in the ocean to the moment it rises again into the sky. No rush, no noise, just a quiet journey through the hidden rhythms of water and wonder. Let's begin. Welcome to the edge of everything. Imagine yourself standing on the shore of a vast, endless ocean, a place where the water meets the sky in a seamless blur of blue and light. It's quiet here, not silent, but peaceful. You hear the faint hush of waves gently folding over themselves, not crashing, not shouting, just breathing. The sun is rising slowly, spilling soft gold across the surface of the sea. It doesn't blaze, it glows, like a candle behind sheer curtains, warm, delicate, and steady. Now, gently float forward. Let your feet leave the ground. You are no longer solid. You are no longer heavy. You are becoming something smaller, something lighter, something free. You are a single water molecule. You've lived here in the ocean for longer than memory can hold, resting in the company of trillions of others. Together, you've been part of waves and whirlpools, of tides and still ponds. You've swirled past coral reefs, touched the shells of sea creatures, and rocked gently in the cradle of the deep. But today is different. The warmth of the sun reaches down through the morning haze, slipping into the top layers of the sea. It finds you, quietly, like a whisper, and gives you just a bit of energy. Not too much, just enough. You begin to move. At first, it feels like a slow sway, then a gentle shimmy, and before you even realize what's happening, you're lifting out of the water, out of your liquid form, changing, not with effort, but with ease. You are becoming vapor, light as air, lighter even. You rise slowly from the surface of the sea, invisible to the human eye, but glowing with motion and warmth. There is no pain, no force, only release. You are not alone. All around you, other molecules are rising too, millions, maybe billions, little silent travelers like yourself. They come from all corners of the ocean, from warm tidal pools, from the edges of islands, from the glistening backs of waves. Some rise quickly, some rise slow, but all of them, like you, are rising. You float together, upward, softly. The ocean grows smaller beneath you. The waves become ripples, then wrinkles, then barely a blur. You can see the shape of the coastline now, the fingers of the land stretching into the sea. The wind brushes against you, gentle and cool, carrying you higher without resistance. There is no gravity here, or at least it doesn't feel like it. The world grows wide and quiet. Above you, the sky stretches forever. The blue turns softer, lighter, more faded, like the inside of a dream. You pass birds in flight, unnoticed. You sail beyond the tallest trees, the highest cliffs, the reach of even the most ambitious mountains. Everything is slow now. You are suspended in a moment that has no edges. Somewhere far below, people go about their days. They drink coffee, they open windows, they walk their dogs and check the weather. But up here, time doesn't matter. You are not late, you are not early. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, drifting upward, like a secret no one hears but the sky. The temperature cools. You begin to feel it, not as cold exactly, but as a softness. A feather brushing against your edges, the kind of coolness that carries snowflakes in its breath. Around you, more vapor gathers, not crashing, not jostling, just coming together like old friends meeting in silence. It's not just air anymore. You're entering something else, something cloud-like. A place where vapor becomes mist, where breath becomes body, where floating becomes resting. But we'll talk about that soon. For now, you are still rising, still light, still free, still drifting like a thought not yet spoken. Let's float a little higher, toward the place where clouds are born. We are still rising. You and I, just vapor now, light as breath, silent as a sigh. We float through invisible currents of air, carried not by wings or engines, but by warmth and stillness. The higher we go, the cooler the world becomes. The sky, once a brilliant blue, begins to pale. The colors soften. The light thins out, like watercolor seeping into paper. And then we enter it. The cloud. It doesn't happen with a bang or a boundary. There's no door to cross, no wall to pass through. Instead, we just arrive. The way fog creeps in on a cold morning. The way sleep finds you when your thoughts grow quiet. This cloud, it isn't a place. It's a feeling. Let's imagine it together. We are now surrounded by a soft, endless mist. Not wet exactly, not dry either. The air here is full of others like us, tiny droplets of vapor, each one born from a lake, or a river, or a tear on someone's cheek. We've all gathered here, unannounced and unseen. A quiet reunion of water, coming home in the sky. The cloud stretches in every direction, above, below, around, it's all the same. A floating palace made of nothing and everything. There's no floor, no ceiling, just soft swirling motion, like a daydream gently turning in slow circles. And listen. Do you hear that? Silence. The thick kind. The kind of silence that fills your ears and makes your heartbeat sound loud. The kind of silence you find deep in a snowfall or between pages in a forgotten book. It's the silence of suspended time. Within this cloud, the droplets begin to change. The air is cooler now, much cooler. The warmth that lifted us here is fading. In its place is a still chill, not sharp, but sleepy. It wraps around us like a soft gray blanket. The droplets around us begin to gather together, clinging gently, like hands finding each other in the dark. We're not vapor anymore. We're becoming something heavier. We condense, slowly, lovingly, molecule by molecule. We become drops, real, visible drops, and with each moment, the cloud thickens. What once was a whisper becomes a murmur. A breath becomes a body. This is the gathering, the quiet transformation from invisible to visible. It doesn't feel sudden. It feels ancient. We've been here before, you and I, maybe 1,000 times. in 1,000 lifetimes. We've been part of rain and snow, mist and frost. We've kissed the wings of dragonflies and hidden in the folds of morning fog. And now we've found our way back to the sky's quiet waiting room. Around us, the cloud pulses faintly. There are soft swells of movement like the ocean's breath, inhaling, exhaling, drifting. Some of the droplets near us are already heavy, waiting for the next part of the story. Others are still light, still gathering. It's all perfectly timed. There's no rush. In the heart of the cloud, we hang in stillness, a droplet among millions. We are part of something vast and gentle, something patient, a floating cathedral of mist and memory. Every drop is a story. Every swirl is a chapter. And together we are the quiet chorus of the sky. But somewhere far below, the earth waits, and soon gravity will remember us. But not just yet. Let's rest here a while longer, suspended in silence, surrounded by kin, wrapped in gray softness. We are droplets now, waiting, listening, becoming the cloud is full now. Heavy with gathered breath, dense with droplets like us, patient, round, glistening with the memory of sunlight and sea. For a long time, we've rested here, suspended in the sky's quiet arms, listening to nothing, watching the world far below blur into soft patches of green, brown, blue. But even clouds must let go. Let's imagine that moment together. You're still nestled in a cradle of mist. Around you are your siblings, fellow droplets, each one with its own tiny weight, its own little shimmer, its own longing to fall. And then you feel it. Gravity, not as a force, not as a tug, but as a whisper in your chest, a gentle suggestion, a downward hum. It starts small, almost ignorable, like the first note in a lullaby. Then, slowly, you begin to move downward. At first, you don't fall. You float. You drift through the bottom of the cloud, past layers of mist and memory, past the last bits of vapor who haven't yet formed into droplets. The air thickens, the color changes. Light filters through the cloud like sun through lace, soft, silver, scattered. The drop beside you shimmers with reflected light. You touch, you join. Now you're larger, a fuller drop, rounder. You move a little faster, and then you join with another and another. Each time, your shape grows, the weight grows. The whisper of gravity becomes a murmur. Now the fall begins in earnest. Not rushing, not plummeting, just falling. A gentle tumble through space. The cloud fades behind you. Above is gray. Below is green and gold, and far away. You pass through layers of atmosphere, like drifting down a staircase of air. The wind plays with you, not harshly, not cruelly, but like a child rolling marbles across a floor. You wobble slightly, you tilt, you spin. You are a raindrop now, fully formed, dressed in light, and still falling. The sound of the earth grows closer. It's not noise exactly, more like a feeling in your core, the hum of rivers, the quiet rustle of trees, the soft hush of soil waiting to be touched. You are heading home, though you've never been here before. Isn't that strange? Let's picture the world below. There are rooftops waiting to feel you, petals waiting to cup you, tiny spider webs ready to catch you in the gentlest trap. There are thirsty leaves and quiet puddles, and soft patches of moss all waiting for your arrival. And all around you, hundreds, thousands, other droplets are falling too. A whole sky's worth. Some fall faster, some slower. Some drift sideways, caught in tiny breezes that only birds can feel. You are not alone in this descent. It is a shared falling, a peaceful surrender to the pull of the world. And just before you reach the ground, time seems to stretch. The world becomes sharper. The leaf you're heading for comes into view, broad, dark green, holding a single glimmer of dew. The edges are soft. The surface is cool. You are aimed perfectly. You fall and land. Not with a splash, not with a crash. Just a soft, silent kiss. The journey from sea to sky to earth, complete. But only for a moment. The leaf trembles under your weight. The forest air is thick with mist. You rest here now, still glimmering, round, a tiny lens through which the whole world is upside down. You've landed. But your story? It's just beginning. The cloud is full now. Heavy with gathered breath, dense with droplets like us, patient, round, glistening with the memory of sunlight and sea. For a long time, we've rested here, suspended in the sky's quiet arms, listening to nothing, watching the world far below blur into soft patches of green, brown, blue. But even clouds must let go. Let's imagine that moment together. You're still nestled in a cradle of mist. Around you are your siblings, fellow droplets, each one with its own tiny weight, its own little shimmer, its own longing to fall. And then you feel it. Gravity, not as a force, not as a tug, but as a whisper in your chest, a gentle suggestion, a downward hum. It starts small, almost ignorable, like the first note in a lullaby. Then, slowly, you begin to move downward. At first, you don't fall. You float. You drift through the bottom of the cloud, past layers of mist and memory, past the last bits of vapor who haven't yet formed into droplets. The air thickens, the color changes. Light filters through the cloud, like sun through lace, soft, silver, scattered. The drop beside you shimmers with reflected light. You touch, you join. Now you're larger, a fuller drop, rounder. You move a little faster, and then you join with another and another. Each time, your shape grows, the weight grows. The whisper of gravity becomes a murmur. Now the fall begins in earnest. Not rushing, not plummeting, just falling. A gentle tumble through space. The cloud fades behind you. Above is gray, below is green and gold and far away. You pass through layers of atmosphere, like drifting down a staircase of air. The wind plays with you, not harshly, not cruelly, but like a child rolling marbles across a floor. You wobble slightly, you tilt, you spin. You are a raindrop now, fully formed, dressed in light, and still falling. The sound of the earth grows closer. It's not noise exactly, more like a feeling in your core, the hum of rivers, the quiet rustle of trees, the soft hush of soil waiting to be touched. You are heading home, though you've never been here before. Isn't that strange? Let's picture the world below. There are rooftops waiting to feel you, petals waiting to cup you, tiny spider webs, ready to catch you in the gentlest trap. There are thirsty leaves and quiet puddles and soft patches of moss all waiting for your arrival. And all around you, hundreds, thousands, other droplets are falling too. A whole sky's worth. Some fall faster, some slower. Some drift sideways, caught in tiny breezes that only birds can feel. You are not alone in this descent. It is a shared falling, a peaceful surrender to the pull of the world. And just before you reach the ground, time seems to stretch. The world becomes sharper. The leaf you're heading for comes into view, broad, dark green, holding a single glimmer of dew. The edges are soft. The surface is cool. You are aimed perfectly. You fall and land. Not with a splash, not with a crash. Just a soft, silent kiss. The journey from sea to sky to earth, complete, but only for a moment. The leaf trembles under your weight. The forest air is thick with mist. You rest here now, still glimmering, round, a tiny lens through which the whole world is upside down. You've landed. But your story? It's just beginning. The fall is over. But the world is still moving. You've landed softly on the broad, open surface of a deep green leaf. It sways gently under your weight, not in protest, but in welcome, like an open hand, like a cradle. The forest around you exhales. Everything is quiet here, but not silent. You can hear the hush of distant water, the whisper of wind slipping through the canopy, the occasional drop, like your own, landing with a tiny pat on another waiting leaf. And the leaf beneath you, it's cool, smooth, alive. You sit perfectly still, a single round bead of water glistening in the dim, leafy light. You're no longer falling, no longer flying, just resting. Let's stay here for a moment. Above, the trees stretch endlessly upward like cathedral columns reaching for the sky. Their branches overlap, tangled and wise, filtering the sunlight into soft greenish gold. The light is dappled, gentle. You can almost feel it pressing against your skin like velvet. The air smells of moss and bark, damp earth and wildflowers. Somewhere nearby, a bird rustles, not to alarm you, just to say hello. Tiny insects tiptoe across the surface of the leaf. They skirt around you without touching, as if they know you've come from somewhere important, somewhere far, somewhere they've never seen. Time slows to the rhythm of the woods. You sit still for minutes, or maybe hours. Forest time doesn't keep track the way we do. It moves in seasons and shadows, in leaf fall and bloom. And as you sit, small changes begin to happen around you. Subtle, slow, inevitable. A breeze comes, just a little one. It stirs the leaf and your drop begins to tremble. Not in fear, but in readiness. Gravity speaks again. The leaf tilts. And now you begin to move. Not fast, not rushed, just a slow, deliberate slide across the surface, curving along the veins of the leaf, catching glints of light, leaving behind a delicate trail of wetness like a signature. You reach the edge. And then you fall again. But this time it's not far. You drop into a puddle, a tiny one, tucked between roots and stones, hidden from sunlight. Its surface ripples gently as you join. You are not alone here either. Other droplets have arrived, some just moments ago, some yesterday, some before that. You become part of them now, indistinguishable, one among many. And then, like before, you begin to move again. This time, pulled by the gentle slope of the land. You trickle, a soft winding motion, around twigs, over pebbles, beneath the curled lip of a fern. The ground here is soft and dark and rich, earth that has held rain for centuries. You flow downward, drawn by a slope so gradual it barely feels like movement at all. And then you disappear, not in a puff, not in a flash, but slowly, absorbed into the soil, pulled into the earth, grain by grain. The forest takes you in. The ground drinks you like tea. You sink downward, beneath the moss, below the roots, past the ants and the tunnels and the waiting seats. The world becomes dim, then darker, then silent again. You are no longer seen. You are underground now. But don't worry. You are still moving. And deeper still, the real journey begins. You are sinking. Not like falling through air, not like slipping down a hill, but something slower, something gentler, a kind of steady vanishing. The soil wraps around you. At first, it's loose, soft and crumbly, full of old leaves and moss, and beetles going about their quiet lives. It smells of wood and earth, of rain and time. You pass through tiny gaps between grains of dirt, moving not as a drop anymore, but as something more fluid, more formless. You are becoming part of the earth now, and still, you drift downward, through thin roots that reach like fingers into the soil. Some of them drink from you, just a sip, a quiet thank you. Others let you pass by, around pebbles smooth with age, past tunnels carved by worms lined with silk and forgotten stories, through pockets of air that feel like tiny rooms, and then back into soil again. It's darker here. Not frightening, just still. The kind of darkness that has never known sunlight. Only the soft memory of it, whispered down through raindrops like you. Let's pause and feel it. The weight of the earth above, the silence, the cool, unmoving hush. No breeze, no sound, only pressure, only slowness. And yet, life is here, a different kind of life. Tiny threads of fungi stretch like ghostly roots through the dirt, a secret web called the mycorrhizal network. You brush against it. It tingles faintly. These filaments carry messages between trees, between plants, like quiet conversations written in chemical ink. And you help. You become part of it. You feed it. You hydrate it. You soften its paths. You are no longer just a traveler now. You are a participant, a piece of the underground world's soft machinery. And deeper still you go. The soil grows dense, clay-like, cold. The light that was never really here fades even further until all that's left is the memory of warmth, like the warmth of a hand you haven't held in years, but still remember. Down here, time moves differently. A day can pass like a breath, or a breath can feel like 100 years. And then you reach it. The water table. A hidden sea beneath the land. Not a rushing river, not a lake. Just a layer, a level. A quiet expanse of saturated earth where all the raindrops gather. The ones that came before you. The ones that traveled deeper, slower, steadier. Some have been here for centuries. Some will stay for centuries more. You are among them now. You are no longer moving. Not really. You are resting. Surrounded by stone and shadow, by ancient pressure and stillness. You are water, yes, but now you are also waiting. This is the part of the story most people forget. The stillness, the underground dreaming. You are not forgotten. You are not wasted. You are simply here, deep, quiet, necessary. And somewhere far above, the forest continues. The sun still rises. The wind still speaks through leaves. But you found something else. The hidden rhythm below the world. And you'll stay here for a while, in this secret sea beneath the roots, until the earth decides it's time to rise again. Something stirs above you. Not loud, not sudden, just a tug, a gentle call, like a whisper echoing down through the soil. It's a tree. Its roots stretch deep, deep enough to find you. They are slow-moving seekers, threading through the earth like ancient veins, looking not with eyes, but with thirst. And today, they find you. You don't fight it. You simply become part of the pull. At first, it's subtle, a shift in direction, a quiet pressure wrapping around your edges. You move upward now, drawn by a force that isn't gravity, but something else, something older. The trees need its slow, rhythmic breath. You are pulled into the root. Inside, it's warm, not hot, just gently alive. The walls of the root are soft and spongy, pulsing faintly, like the inside of a sleeping creature. You are no longer a drop, not quite. You're water, but now you're more like flow, a pulse, a current, a rising thread. And so the climb begins. It's not fast. This isn't a burst or a leap or a rush. It's a slow, sacred journey, like climbing a spiral staircase that winds through wood and time. The tree carries you inch by inch through its xylem, narrow pathways like capillaries that stretch up its entire height. You are not alone. Other molecules travel with you. You move together, slowly rising with the morning warmth. Let's imagine the path. Through the roots into the trunk, past layers of bark, past rings of age and memory. Every inch of the tree holds stories. Storms it survived. Winters it slept through. Summers it drank the sky. And now your story becomes part of its own. Up and up you go. Past ants crawling across the bark. Past the hollow where a woodpecker once nested. Past the place where the tree split long ago and healed. Every branch you pass holds leaves like open hands, reaching toward the sun. You're climbing into the light now. You can feel it, a faint glow pulsing above, drawing you upward. At last you arrive. You settle quietly into a leaf. A single green chamber, thin as paper and buzzing softly with energy. Inside, there's light, photosynthesis, the tree's way of breathing in sunlight and exhaling life. You don't have to do anything. You just be. You rest there for hours, days even, held, suspended. Part of the leaf's breath, part of the tree's song. Outside, the wind rustles. The leaf sways gently, rocking you like a hammock. Birds pass overhead. The sun traces slow arcs across the sky. The days feel long and golden. You've gone from ocean to cloud to forest floor. And now you've become part of something that grows. Part of a body that cannot move, but still reaches. You stay here in this leaf until one warm afternoon, a breeze rolls in, and the sun glows just a little brighter. You feel it in your molecules, a warmth, a signal. Something inside you changes. The story is turning again. It's time to rise higher still. But this time, not through the tree. This time, you're going back to the air. The sun has returned, not in a rush, not shouting from the sky, just glowing, softly, kindly. It spills golden warmth across the canopy, sliding down through the spaces between leaves, touching everything with light. And now, it finds you. You've been resting inside this leaf for days, quiet, still, a part of something larger. You've moved through roots and trunks, and up, up, up into green, and you've been content here, rocked by the wind, held by the tree. But now, something inside you begins to stir. It starts with heat, a gentle rise in temperature, not enough to startle, just enough to loosen your grip on form. You begin to vibrate, almost imperceptibly. Your bonds stretch. Your shape softens. You are beginning to evaporate. But let's not think of it as ending. Let's think of it as a return. You are becoming lighter again. Not smaller, just freer. The water that once made you heavy now lets you go. You rise slowly through the pores of the leaf, through tiny openings called stomata, like little doorways to the world above. You don't push through them. You drift through them. You become vapor. And just like that, you're in the air again. But it's not the same as before. This time, it feels like homecoming. You remember this feeling, the weightlessness, the floating, the absence of edges. You are invisible now, a whisper of what you were, a sigh rising into the afternoon light. All around you, other droplets are rising too, some from nearby leaves, some from distant puddles on shaded forest trails, some from rivers warmed by sunlight, or the bark of trees still slick with rain. You join them, a silent gathering, ascending in slow waves. Let's imagine the air. It's warm, but not hot. It smells like pine and pollen, like late summer. The wind is soft here, moving gently between branches and moss-covered rocks. It carries you upward, over the forest, higher and higher, until the green below begins to soften into abstract shapes and muted shadows. Below you is everything you've touched, the soil that cradled you, the roots that drank you, the trunk that lifted you, the leaf that let you go. You rise above it all, not with sadness, but with a quiet kind of peace. Because this is what water does. It moves, it returns, it transforms, again and again, always in motion, but always complete. You are now part of the sky once more, light as breath, soft as steam, clear as memory. And though you can't see yourself, and no one else can either, you are here, floating, watching, waiting. And far above, the atmosphere opens up like a sea of glass. Still ahead lies the long drift, the endless sky. But for now, you rest here in the middle space. No longer tree, not yet cloud, just air. You are high above the world now, so high that roads no longer look like roads, and trees no longer look like trees, just threads and patches, soft shapes sewn into the quilt of the land below. You are vapor again, weightless, formless, invisible to all but the wind. There's no rush here, no noise, only the vast stretching sky and you. Let's imagine the space you're in. The air around you is thin and quiet, not empty, but still, like the inside of a dream that hasn't ended yet. Sunlight filters through the atmosphere at a gentle angle, turning everything pale gold and silver blue. There are no harsh shadows, no sharp lines, just gradients, just softness, and you begin to drift. Not fall, not fly, just float. The breeze that carries you is older than anything you've ever known. It remembers glaciers. It remembers dust from the Sahara. It remembers salt from oceans you've never seen. And now it carries you, not with purpose, but with grace. You move slowly through layers of atmosphere, each one quieter than the last. There's a rhythm to it, like a breath that never ends. You pass over forests and rivers, mountains and cities. You don't need to understand where you are. You are part of it now. Let's look below. There's a field, golden and wide. A single farmhouse sits in the center, its roof dotted with leftover rain. A dog naps in the shade. No one looks up. Further along, a mountain range rises, jagged and silent in. The peaks are dusted with snow. You glide over them, untouched by their cold. Clouds curl around their sides like scarves. Then comes a desert, wide, shimmering, endless. The sand reflects the sun, making waves of light ripple across the ground. You float far above it, casting no shadow. Cities come and go, tiny flickers of motion. Cars like insects, skyscrapers like teeth. But up here, everything is equal. Everything is still. You are simply carried. And you're not alone. Other vapor travels beside you. Some molecules that once fell as snow in the Arctic, others that were steam from jungle leaves. You drift together, like a quiet, unseen caravan in the sky. There is a beauty to this slowness. No destination, no schedule, just motion. Sometimes the wind rises a little, lifting you higher, toward the edge of the atmosphere. Up there, the sky turns a darker shade of blue. You can see the curve of the earth if you look closely. It feels quiet and important, like standing on the edge of a page just before a new chapter begins. And then the wind lowers again, and you descend soft as breath, returning to calmer layers. The world below keeps turning. You feel it, not as movement, but as presence, a deep, slow heartbeat beneath your invisible feet. Hours pass, or maybe days. Time doesn't move the same here. It stretches, curls, folds in on itself. You lose track, but it doesn't matter. Eventually, you feel it. That familiar cooling, the gentle condensation of what was once warm and free, beginning to thicken again. The sky starts to build its clouds. A gathering begins, a reunion, and you know what comes next. Another fall, another landing, another moment of stillness. But that part hasn't arrived yet. For now, you are drifting, quiet, weightless, watching the world like a dream you've already had. Soft around the edges, always moving, never ending, the air is cooler now. Not the chill of winter, but the softness of change. The kind of cool that makes clouds gather, the kind that signals a return. You feel it deep in your center, the slow condensation beginning. Vapor thickens, edges form. You are becoming visible again. A shape, a drop. The cycle is closing, but not ending. You're part of a cloud once more, not the same one as before, but not entirely different either. A new swirl of breath and dust and memory. And here you are again, forming among it all. Still quiet, still patient, still you. You grow heavier. The others around you begin to shimmer. One by one, they too become drops. The cloud is ready. Gravity whispers, and you begin to fall. Downward again, just as before, through layers of air, past sunlit windows, past treetops, past rooftops. You may land in a river this time, or a garden, or the hollow of an old stone, or on someone's skin as they walk through a soft spring rain. Wherever you land, it's never the end, because you'll rise again. As you always have, you are water. The shape of motion itself, the slow rhythm that threads the world together, drop by drop, mist by mist. You have traveled from sea to sky, to soil, to leaf, to air again. And now again you fall. This cycle has no final destination. It only breathes. It continues. Softly, endlessly. And now, as your thoughts drift into dreams and your body sinks into stillness, know this: you are like the raindrop, always changing, always moving, always returning. Let yourself rest now. The story will go on without you for a while. And when you wake, it will still be there, flowing. Full circle. Good night, traveler. And thank you for floating with us here at Snooze Scholar. If you found peace in this quiet journey, give the video a soft like. Maybe even tap subscribe so that next time sleep calls, we'll be right here waiting. And now, as your thoughts drift into dreams, I'll leave you in silence